Hey, what's up, everybody? Lazarus, Mr. Major Gains, with a little bit of real science. So, glycemic index has been a big thing for a long time, and a lot of y'all know that I've been studying nutrition, and I have really come to be very intrigued by the meticulous scientific part of nutrition and bodybuilding. So as I learn things, I will share them with you guys. And this is something new that I learned about the glycemic index, a good carb or a bad carb. So there is no such thing as a good carb or a bad carb. The glycemic index was developed or brought out in 1981, a year before I was born. So let's think. I'm 31 years old. This study was done 32 years ago, and science evolves all the time. And even 32 years ago, when the glycemic index test was done, it still was not applicable to why people say this carb is better to eat than this carb. And here's why. When the glycemic index was released, when it was studied on individuals who have insulin deficiencies, people like those who have diabetes. So most of us don't have that. One, write that one down. Most of us don't have insulin deficiencies. Number two, these people were starved or they fasted for 24 hours. So they ate zip for a whole day. You, me, pretty much everyone you know never does that. So there's another thing that was in that study that really throws the glycemic index out the window right now. Hey, cooking popcorn? I want some. Sorry about that. I smell popcorn. Anyway, where was I? Okay, glycemic index. Fasted people. So, each one of these people that they fed a carbohydrate to hadn't eaten for 24 hours, and each person was fed a different carbohydrate. One was fed white rice, one was fed yams, one was fed oatmeal, etc. So, when the glycemic index was tested, they were fed to fasted people who have insulin deficiencies. So if white rice gave someone an 80% increase in their insulin level in their blood, then white rice was giving a glycemic index of 80. If it was sweet potatoes and it gave somebody an insulin increase of 25%, then that sweet potato was given a glycemic index of 25. So we've already identified a couple of problems with the study, whereas the people who it was done on had insulin deficiencies. Number two, they were fasted for 24 hours. There's two problems right there. The third problem is that none of us hardly ever eat carbs by themselves. We always eat them in a meal. So if you add any other macronutrient, protein or fat, to a carbohydrate, it completely eradicates the glycemic index. It takes it down a notch. So if you got white rice and the glycemic index is 80 and you add protein or fat to it, the glycemic index, the fast acting carb, is turned into a complex carb. Really, it's not turned into a complex carb. It just digests slower, like what people think oatmeal or sweet potatoes digest slow and they hit your blood slower. So, in conclusion, the glycemic index is null and void unless you have an insulin deficiency, you haven't eaten for 24 hours, and you eat nothing but carbs by themselves all the time. So a carb is a carb. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter if it comes from sweet potato. It doesn't matter if it comes from a Skittle. When it goes into your bloodstream, it's the same thing. So it don't matter. I'm not telling you to eat Skittles all day instead of oatmeal, because that doesn't make sense. Oatmeal has fiber in it. Oatmeal has protein in it. Oatmeal also has some fat in it. Skittles is nothing but carbs. So the thing is, if you aren't counting your macronutrients, if you are not counting your calories, maybe you want to stick to white rice and sweet potatoes. You'll have a less chance, maybe you'll have a smaller chance of going over your carbs, because that's the only way carbs will be as any sort of negative effect to you, is if you go over the amount that you are supposed to be eating for your body every day. And how do you know that if you're not counting it? If you don't think macronutrients matter, you need to think again. But if you're counting them, if you're counting your calories, if you're counting your macronutrients like you should be, it doesn't matter the source. As long as your macronutrients, your protein, carbs, fats, and fiber are all in balance with the macronutrient count that is correct for your body. So, I can prove it. These right here, 250 calories. It's got 48 grams of carbohydrates. It's got 6 grams of fat. Love Rice Krispies treats. I've been fitting these in my macros on the daily. And ever since I started counting my macros, my progress, my strength in the gym is going up. I feel better because I'm eating more than twice the amount of carbs that I was on before. I'm eating way less protein like I should have been, because before I was eating way too much. And now that I'm counting my macronutrients, I can enjoy my life again every day, instead of saying, hey, Saturday and Sunday's cheat day where I can go and eat 10,000 calories and it doesn't matter, when it really does. That's another subject. But Rice Krispie treats, been fitting these in on the daily. They good too. And look at this. I'm bulking. Okay? I'm making gains. Weight gains. I'm building solid, lean muscle. Look at my face. It ain't fat. I ain't looking like that. Look at my abs. And I'm bulking. Getting fat is not a part of bulking. If you're bulking and you're getting fat and you say, oh, I'm bulking. No, you're just getting fat because your macros ain't right. Lazarus, Mr. Major Gains. Look out for the next video on carbs. Peace.